But Juliette, I don't understand. I thought they only spoke Arabic in Morocco.
Well, Beatrice, let me explain it to you.
Well, let's understand it. First, what we have to know is that the first foreign language in Morocco is indeed French. But why is that? Because of the colonization we saw back in the video of Marilou. But what language do they speak in Morocco? Well, their first language is Arabic. They speak Standard Arabic or also Dialectal Arabic. Why is that too? Well, Dialectal Arabic is the Arabic that they speak in their everyday conversation, but it's also the Darija, which is the Moroccan Arabic. Back in the way they write or speak, they use the Standard Arabic. Same goes for the public institutions. So, how is French used if they use Arabic for public institutions or for writing and readings? Well, French is quite commonly spoken in Morocco because it is also a language that is taught at university, and to do certain programs in university, you have to speak French because they will only be taught in that language. For example, to study to become a doctor, an engineer, or even in finances or in diplomacy, you will have to learn French. It is also taught in younger primary schools.
Thank you, Juliette. Now I understand better. But now I'm wondering, is French in Quebec that different from French in Morocco?
Well, let's see that. In Quebec, French is the primary language used in everyday communication, business, education, and government affairs. It's deeply in the culture and is very embraced by its residents. However, despite its dominance, the language is not entirely settled in. We often incorporate English words and expressions, anglicisms, into our speech, a phenomenon known as anglicization. For example, instead of saying vérifier, we might use checker or we might say full instead of vraiment, like we saw in the interview with Marie-Ève. The linguistic borrowing reflects the dynamic of the language and the cultural exchange between French in Quebec and the English speakers in the other provinces around us. While French remains the main language, Anglicisms are still a big thing in the province. However, the people try to maintain the French language as much as they can in the province since it's such a big part of our culture. It's essential to understand that Bill 101, which was enacted in 1977, aims to promote and protect the French language in various domains, including education, government, and the workplace. It regulates the use of French in public signage, commercial communications, and interactions with government institutions. It even mandates that children receive their primary education in French unless they meet specific eligibility criteria for English instructions, which shows how much people try to maintain the French language. It's not about language exclusivity, but rather about preserving Quebec's linguistic heritage while fostering linguistic diversity. And it's very important for the province. Here is the University of Sherbrooke in Quebec, and here is the University of Rabat in Morocco. Both are Francophone universities, so what difference is in the way they speak? Let's find out. Okay. There's many different ways that we can analyze the way they speak because there is many differences. But first, let's remember from where the French in Morocco comes from. The colonization from the French people. So why don't we invite our French guest? Marilou, can you please go to the scene? Please sit. Since in Morocco, it's more used in a standard way for the universities, there's less dialect that is formed in French because it is not spoken in the houses. So it's gonna still resemble the French from France. So when they say the word and, this conjunction in French, it's gonna still sound similar to the French from France. Marilou, could you say, I'm eating and I'm drinking?
Je mange et je bois.
Well, that's all we can see just here. But what about in Quebec? As a person from Quebec, let me give you an example of how I would say the sentence in French. Je mange puis je bois. The word puis is common contraction is formed and it is now commonly used in the society. To give you a more concrete example of what I just explained to you, here's a video of the Prime Minister of Morocco saying the word "et."
Pour d'autres pays, ces accords de libre-échange.
To give you an example more concrete again, here's an example of François Legault saying the word "et puis."
Maintenant, barrage, puis négociation extérieure.
Another example that we can see is a diphthongization. Here is what the diphthongization is.
Diphthongization is the merging of two vowel sounds into one gliding sound, like in coin, where wa is pronounced as a single sound. For Quebec French, it would be like moi, where the wa sound becomes longer, like wa, moi, and the tone changes.
Marie, how would you say I am with my father in French?
Je suis avec mon père.
As you can see, she said père very quickly for our vowel. But how would a person from Quebec say it? Let's hear it from me. Je suis avec mon père. Somehow, I enlarged the vowel for père and made it longer. And since it's extended, it's almost like the schwa in English. Therefore, the vowel is extended in the Quebecois accent. Finally, we can also see a phenomenon of affrication. Here's what an affrication is.
An affrication is the process of turning a fricative sound into an affricate by adding a brief sound closer, like ch in church.
Marilou, how would you say I am eating chocolate right now in French?
Je mange du chocolat.
Interesting. She said the chocolat like it's written shh. But how would someone from Quebec say it? Me personally, I'd say je mange du chocolat. Why is that? Why would we have a T in front? Because that's the way we pronounce it by contracting it with the preposition before, the du, which is part of the Quebec accent, where there is many affrications too in the way they speak.
I really didn't know that there were so many phenomena to explain the differences in pronunciation between Morocco French and Quebec French.
Right, it's so interesting. How did you guys like it?